about it previously on a lot of other maps, but no map really comes down to Clubhouse as one of the key teamwork-oriented maps. That and Theme Park are two really, really important, I want to say, team-based maps, because you really can't get into sites without using utility and hard breach.
Yeah, we talked about this, so it's a little bit of a deja vu from the old stream, but Clubhouse, super important that you're well coordinated on this map, and I imagine if Powerhouse are able to simulate that, we will be seeing them do pretty well once we get things rolling. We will be seeing, I believe, CCTV for the
Attackers
first
need to
defense.
locate and
Taking a
defuse
look,
bombs.
actually, it's Jim for the first defense, that tertiary bomb site. We've got the Wamai and the Cade, as well as the more traditional operators, the Jaeger, the Castle, and the Bandit. What do you think that means in terms of the lineup and the flex we might see in this round?
Yeah, the Wamai is definitely an interesting pick here, especially also going bedroom first as the site. Usually you see CCTV as one of those staple sites where you want to try and establish that momentum, but going into gym and bedroom is often overlooked. It's a good site, and it can be very crucial in terms of trying to establish that momentum when you do take into account that that site is upstairs, and you do have to waste a lot of utility trying to get Jacuzzi Wall. So I do like that Troll Team is trying a different strategy here. Instead of going one of the tertiary bomb sites later in the round, going it first might open up a lot of opportunities later on for them.
Yeah, and looks like we're going to be seeing the extension come out from Troll Team 6. They've got the Castle as well as the it looks like either Cade Battery or Cade Electric Claw or Bandit Battery inside of Cash to make sure that wall can't get open. Though Powerhouse, I don't think they're really going to look to engage with it. They're instead just going to use that Castle, get the gym window open and everything prepped so that they can attempt a Jacuzzi take. We've got why am I attempting to peek the hatch there? It looks like nobody was directly waiting for him just yet, though. Possibly we might see that later. The Sophia even going to open up the castle barricade. Maybe get what is protecting the wall removed, though we didn't exactly catch that just yet. The Thermite will approach, but still going to be electrified. You've got to get that removed if you want to be successful in opening it up and getting your attack off to a good start.
Yeah, getting Jacuzzi Wall open can really be one of those hard driving factors for the attackers here, which are Powerhouse. But Habini is going to fall to Niccolo, getting a nice shot off with the UMP near the bedroom window. And that is one of your soft breaches off the board, and that could prove to be detrimental to this push here. Raimi gonna get Crank, though, and eliminate him on the peak through Logistics Hatch. So that is already 2 attackers down, and Troll Team sitting comfortably in sight still, not afraid to contest these angles that the attackers are holding.
Yeah, so everybody just kind of posted up outside on the balcony as well as over towards Jacuzzi. We'll have to see a little bit of a change in pace here from Powerhouse if they want to be successful, especially having 2 losses already. A 3v5. They've got the players I think that you would want here in the clutch, notably Sophia and the Habana, 2 operators with incredibly powerful guns. Though, with so many men alive, so many guns on the board for Troll Team 6, I think this is going to be an incredibly difficult prospect, short of a miracle for Powerhouse. Big guy still positioned near outside of Jim. Decides that he doesn't want to go in through the window. Habana will go down by the hands of Derek the Dad on the Wamai, and it's another 2 kills to come out. Troll Team 6. A flawless round to end number 1 here on that tertiary bomb site.
Yeah, I guess going better really did pay off as they make it a flawless round. Not a single player of Troll Team was afraid to contest those angles that the attackers were holding. Outside of Jacuzzi, bedroom, logistics hatch, you name it, they were able to win out on those gunfights. Now, if I could say one thing about Powerhouse was they really took their time getting open Jacuzzi Wall and trying to establish any kind of direct pressure. After they lost that one player, you really want to try and fall back. That's not exactly what they did. They tried and played off of that kill for the refrag, and it ultimately cost them another player. So you have to determine which risks are important and which ones can possibly lose you the round. Going down 5-3 early on an attacking round, early in that round, it's not a good look. So now we're going to see a basement hold here. Still not opting to go CCTV. Though Maverick is off the board, it can be very difficult to still get that wall open. And Thatcher's off the board as well.
Yeah, you talked about risk assessment, and I think that's definitely a great ability and as well as a skill to have as a team. Knowing what you need to push and how valuable it will be to your team can definitely enable you to play a little bit smarter. And is this a rotate down in church? Can we check out the church wall? I
5 seconds to
didn't
go.
exactly catch that there. It is! So the wall will be open. I haven't seen church played like this before, to just have the wall open, because honestly that creates a huge vulnerability in sight. And if they just push down the main staircase, I imagine we'll see a killing field inside of church. So I really hope that we see Powerhaus attempt to do that, but it looks like they're going to try and do a little bit more of a measured approach. Get the roam clear ready and going and droning everything out.
Yeah, that rotate there is not the smartest play, in my opinion. You have most of your defenders spread out, so it's not like they're going to be watching that rotate. Somebody walking down main stairs could easily get the pick. I know Jaeger is now currently watching it, but say he just turns his back for a moment on blue, person crouch walking down main stairs can easily kill them through that hole. It's just a really odd play here. Now, it is an aggressive one, so maybe it's for those late rotates into the hallway, and maybe the attackers don't expect it. Now, they do have drone economy on the board, so they can see that, but so far, not being a huge factor here. Now, you see Glyph droning down main stairs, and we do have Grimy looking to see if he can get rid of the drone, which he does. Minute 50 on the clock, and still bodies on both sides alive, but still no immediate pressure from the attackers of Powerhaus. Troll Team 6 sitting comfortably in sight still, waiting for this push.
I think Powerhaus need to change up their pace a little bit. I talked about that last round, but it seems like the way that they go about attacking this, frankly, pretty well spread out defensive setup from the side of Troll Team isn't really working out too much in their favor. I mean, we hit the minute and 20-second mark, no kills so far for Powerhaus or for Troll Team 6, and the hatches doesn't look like they've been open either. So definitely could make a case that this attack is not really working out too well in their favor. Though, we've seen plenty of rounds where we'll see kind of a old Vitality style execute where they just take the last 10 seconds, rush in, and completely demolish. The Capital will attempt to peek Arcade here. That's going to have to fight against that TCSG. Continues to try and pre-fire. He's going to see the laser sight blinking at him from Moto, but Niccolo will instead try and just move deeper inside of church. This opening, I think, has created a little bit of an uncertainty for Powerhaus that is working in Troll Team's favor. They can't push down the main staircase to take that control, and that's creating a ton of stalling for the side of Powerhaus, and they need to fix this quickly if they're going to have any chance at a successful execute.
Yeah, just under 20 seconds left, and there's still 5 bodies on each side alive, but just as I say that, Powerhaus loses 2 main attackers of Phyllis and Crank, but Big Guy on the refrag does eliminate 1 by Generator, and now we do see the plant coming down as Powerhaus basically manhandled their way into sight, but the retake from Troll Team will be too powerful. We'll shut down the plant by Hibini, and that round will go to Troll Team 6, and the church rotate really played a factor here and kind of just stopped Powerhaus in their tracks, made them reconsider exactly how they wanted to push this. Overall, a really good round from Troll Team, and although these strategies might be a little bit unorthodox, they're working.
Yeah, that's got to be a scary experience for the player, just looking above the diffuser and seeing the 5 remaining defenders descend down through the bomb site, or rather the 4. But with that, ultimately will be unsuccessful, and the strategy, which I said had a little bit going against it, definitely had some merit that I didn't see. In Troll Team, they executed it perfectly. I'll be looking to see more strategies, and maybe this is something Troll Team they've thought up that could be heading a little bit more towards the meta. Hard to make that call early, and I think Powerhaus kind of fumbled their ability to counter it. But round number 3 will be up next, and we're heading to CCTV for the first time in this matchup.
Yeah, and CCTV is definitely the bomb site you want to be defending here. After successfully taking bedroom and basement, the next logical choice will be CCTV and cash room. Now, this is Powerhouse's chance to try and make something happen in terms of momentum, to try and establish anything, because so far right now, their attacks have not been working. These last-second pushes into site are not working in their favor. They need to try something else. Whether that just be get the breach open, get a smoke plant off, that could be one of the things they could try. I know there is Taylor on that smoke. Can deny that area of area in front of the breach, just kind of make it hard for them to push in. But you really gotta, if you're Powerhouse, you have to try something different, because right now everything you're doing is just not working. And if you maybe throw a curveball at them, it might work.
Yeah, we'll really have to just wait to find out, whether or not Powerhouse has got what is needed. Maybe heading to Clubhouse is a questionable decision for them, though they completely did the opposite, frankly, in week number 1. We saw them play on Coastline, which plays out very differently to Clubhouse and how you need to play overall. Crank will start things off. Interesting to see the captain of this team pull out the ash. Maybe he's going for that lead from the front entry fragger type of role with the Israeli FBI operator. Going to be 2 men dropping the hatch, taking control of logistics and preparation for that execute. And control of the main wall does not really seem to be a factor at all in the minds of Powerhouse. They're going to completely attempt to bypass it, and it's been mostly successful so far. Habini will collect one onto Nicolo. So far, your Jaeger and your Mute both go down.
Yeah, definitely. Right now, Powerhouse getting some kind of pressure towards site. Troll Team has already lost 2 of their more crucial operators in terms of utility. You still have smoke on the board, and that can prove to be a little bit of a factor, trying to deny that area where they are pushing through construction and gym. But so far, they're going to get that wall open rather uncontested. They have Hibana, Glyph watching the flank, making sure that they will not get any kind of unexpected angles from the defense on them. We do see a Beanie starting to spray towards the Wamai sitting behind the bomb, but one of the impact grenades from Zofia is going to take out Smoke's Toxic Babe. We are going to see Raimi fall from behind that bomb site via the Zofia from below, and now if you are Troll Team, you are going to be in a world of hurt. Now even more so, a 1v5 for Habini, but it's going to be Big Guy making that happen. Excuse me, that was actually Crank of Troll Team. I don't know why I said Habini. He wasn't anywhere close.
So Powerhouse, they completely change things up. They go for a little bit of an unorthodox push. We have seen, I guess, a little bit in the Pro League, trying to focus on taking construction has come out a lot, but completely disregarding the main wall is not something we see all too often. I really like how they incorporated the Zofia to go below inside of stock to disrupt any presence inside of cash, which really, I think, helped to force some of the defenders to move out of that room and try to play some of those buffer zones, as Chief would call them, inside of CCTV as well as the red hallway. We'll be seeing them, though, as they head into their 4th offensive round, look to maybe even things out here. 2-1 so far in the favor of Troll Team, and I think this is definitely still a comeback situation for Powerhouse, and it's really too early, I think, to call any specific teams being in the lead.
Yeah, definitely, especially a map such as Clubhouse. You've got to look at both attack and defense is very well balanced. Now, defense inherently has a more of a optimized chance to try and win more rounds. Siege is more of a defender-sided game. That being said, if you are attackers, they are able to kind of disrupt what the defense can do. And I know the same can be said about the defense can disrupt the attackers, but when you look at a map such as Clubhouse, you can open up so many vertical and unexpected angles that just take the defense by surprise. And if you have a really coordinated team, that can pay off. So we are going to see Powerhouse trying to mount on their first victory, going to try and take bedroom site. Troll Team going back to their roots where they got the first flawless round of the game inside of gym and bedroom. Now, if you are Troll Team, going back to Gym and Bedroom is probably one of the smarter plays you can do here. You already were able to win that one round, and going back to that site will give you more of a kind of change the pace. You sit on site and you don't really try and like, I want to say, challenge the attacker's angles. It's what they did the first time, but knowing that Powerhaus is now hot on their heels, maybe you don't want to do that. We are going to see Niccolo just barely get grazed by the bullets of Big Guy, and that was a close one. Not sure if there was a little bit of server lag there, but we are going to see a Beanie take a grenade, throw it towards the top of main stairs, and still, all 5 bodies on each side alive as we hit the minute 35 mark.
Bomb located by attackers.
Yeah, close made there. It looked like it had the correct trajectory to hit Taylor, but ultimately it will only be partly successful. We've got Glyph. He's already opened up the CCTV wall, and he's just going to hold the angle, make sure nobody tries to rotate through deeper inside the screen. 2 men outside on the south balcony for the offense, and holding the angle is definitely a good sign. Another one will drop down. A nade is cooked and tossed deep, though it actually gets caught by a Wamai magnet. The castle barricade open so far. Looks like the thermite could be successful. We saw an electroclaw tossed out, but ultimately it will fail in its task. The jacuzzi wall open, and the first step of the offensive plan achieved with 50 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, took their sweet time trying to get jacuzzi wall open. Now, that could have just been the defensive Troll Team just really playing that wall and holding it super aggressively. But now having that wall open, it's going to make it a lot easier for Powerhaus to try and take site. We are going to see the Wamai just holding through head level of the bathroom wall. Ooh, his crosshairs right on Thermite. He's going to peek out and find him. A beautiful shot in the refrag from none other than Habini. We are going to see Slasher find Big Guy, though, and now it is a 3v4, hitting the 10-second mark.
10 seconds.
We are going to see Glyph take out Slasher, now making it a 1v3 situation as Crank will fall. It's all up to Glyph to try and push into sight and get the last few, but no, it's going to be Rimey finding Glyph. A final kill, Troll Team winning it out here on Gym and Bedroom. Could have gone either way there in the last few seconds, though.
Yeah, a much closer round than we saw in number 1, which was a flawless round for those of you keeping score at home. 1-3, we've got 2 rounds remaining in the first half for Powerhaus and TT6. And I think we've still got a little bit of a chance for either Troll Team to establish a strong lead or maybe Powerhaus to equalize it. It'll be us and our opportunity to look at the storyline. Now, as we go down to basement, we saw the same rotation going to Gym and then to Armory for number 1 and 2. So, a little bit of a historical reenactment here for the defensive setup from Troll Team, and I'll be eager to see whether or not they'll be running that same rotation through the church wall.
Yeah, you probably won't see that same rotate, seeing as the first time it almost lost in the round. Now, if you are Troll Team going back into basement, you need to realize you have to have more of a presence upstairs. The only way where you want to try and pressure the defenders is blue. You want to try and flank them, make them uncomfortable, because that is a spot where a lot of people on the attacking side just are not able to get anything going. It's why basement is one of those more powerful sites. You reinforce that hatch, you play a Wamai behind the generator, behind a shield. It's a really hard thing to try and push, especially when you got to worry about being flanked from lounge and stock. It's just a mess to try and push through. That's why a lot of teams opt to go for kitchen. But we are going to see him rotate through church. This time there's going to be a Goyo shield there to try and make that a little bit easier. Now, I keep focusing on this church rotate, but I feel like this round, and forgive me if I actually caster curse this, that Goyo shield is going to get somebody killed on the defender side.
Looks like Powerhaus trying to play this a little bit more aggressive, which is definitely a good sign. You see, Big Guy, I believe his last known location was inside a bottom garage sitting near bikes. actually going to be on his drone now, so doing a little bit of roam clearing in preparation for the attempted push. We might see a blue take come out from Powerhouse, though with Crank rotating now into Bar, I'm a little bit more favoring we might see a take come through the main stairs. The Thermite now getting open the construction wall. We'll possibly see a dirt tunnel push, or at least a possibility therein, established here as we hit the minute and 45-second mark on the clock. Angles will continue to be held, and time continues to be burned.
Yeah, and if you are Troll Team right now, you want to try and contest these vertical angles that Powerhouse is attempting inside of Kitchen. Running up here with the sledge is Habini, is going to try and make these defenders uncomfortable and moving around towards where his teammates are holding those angles. And that's really why you want to establish that vertical pressure. You want to make the defenders as uncomfortable as possible and force them to move. We usually Crank above the main stairs. He's going to try and burn the ADS and maybe take out that playable shield. The nade from Mabini, though, is going to try and play vertical here. He's going to try and throw it down, and he will. The hatch is going to get opened up, though, and Derek's going to grab his Goyo shield and move back towards Arsenal Room. We hit the minute mark, and still, all 5 bodies on both sides are alive.
But getting a little bit of that late round vertical play set up. Not going to find any success so far, though. Crank going to try and maybe sneak down the main staircase. He's got a number of players to contest with. Notably will be Raimi inside of Church as well as the Cage. Now sneaking up Moto Hallway, he will catch it, landing the body shots to take down Crank. Abini attempting to push here will start to choke on that gas. Though coming aggressive, he will get cut down by the SMG-11. The trade is in, however, will be Phyllis on the Thermite. Crank and his teammate now Glyph. 2 casualties as they continue to mount. Slasher to find one. Derek with another. A successful Arsenal defense for Troll Team. 1-4 for them.
And I talked about this the first time, and it was trying to push blue. It just does not work, and that's why you have to try different angles. So they tried to push dirt, but there was a deployable shield of smoke, and it really cost them a lot of time trying to get rid of him. And it took almost the entire match to do so. 20 seconds left, and you're trying to push through dirt. The intel is already there, though, and the defenders, really easy job to just pick off the final funnel of the attackers' last-ditch effort to push site. A good play by Troll Team, and reason they're up 4-1. Now, what do you think Powerhouse needs to do to try and get some momentum back in this one?
So I think they kind of just have some overall issues with the speed that they try and take things with. We also might just be seeing kind of a bad day overall for them. I mean, taking a look at it, Frank, Glyph, and Phyllis overall have 3 combined kills, and we're already at round number 6. So a little bit of a struggle so far, taking a look at the purely frag-minded things for this one. I think that's not the whole story, though. I think Troll Team have just overall been kind of denying them at every step. I mean, in simple takes, like coming through the dirt tunnel, even though we did see the trade come out, still had a player go down. We saw Crank, he tried to push down the main stairs without any support, any intel from drones or flank watches from his teammates, and ultimately just walked into a gunfight that didn't favor it. He was too busy focusing on that rotate that had been so successful for Troll Team and causing chaos and uncertainty, and ultimately he just got cut down. So, if I have to say one thing overall is Powerhouse, they kind of need to almost go back to the drawing board and how they're setting up these executes against Troll Team.
Yeah, definitely. When you have most of the members of one defensive side playing inside of sight, it's just not very practical to try and roam clear at that point. Yeah, you do a small roam clear, but you do just take advantage, you take control of areas close to site, and you hold those flanks, you use those claymores, utilities, air jabs, whatever it be, and you just kind of push in. Phil's gonna get the CCTV wall open, though, and that is probably the quickest we've seen a hard wall that is very crucial to winning a round opens. 2 minutes left on the clock, and the wall is open. That leaves a lot of room for the attackers to work. Now, it is early in this one, but that is huge and crucial moving into the endgame phase.
So Powerhouse are taking a little bit of a different approach here. Ooh, look at Big Guy almost took down Raimi, lined up on him with that kind of spray fire through the wall. But this time we're still seeing them go from below, but a focus on the east side wall instead of coming through construction. So a little bit different. Though if they're able to claim control of Garage and shut down this player on the catwalk, I can definitely see a case to be made for this being a solid execution. Though with so much utility being dedicated to him, it's definitely going to be incredibly difficult. He is forced to rotate deeper through the catwalk and gets cut down. Big Guy holding the rotate very effectively. So we might be seeing the beginnings of something great and a possible round win for Powerhouse in number 6. Smoke canister will detonate here, and it's going to start and maybe choke out some of the offense a little bit. We're at the 40-second marker, and I think Powerhouse have what is necessary to begin the execute. They simply need to have that order, and it might come soon. We see 2 players stacked up on the rotate here. It looks like it might be Bandit first on the scene to contest it. The diffuser will go in. The default plant begins. Looks like the Nitro from below could stop things. Derek will cut down one. The Nitro gets tossed out, but ultimately it's too late. A 3-on-4. Good positions here from Powerhouse. If they're able to shut down the mute downstairs, we could be seeing them take a round win. Though Slasher will find 2. It's a double kill for him. The diffuser is being counter-diffused. It's Slasher on the call. Taylor lands the shot with the SMG-11. Troll Team 6 end the half 5-1. A dominant showing and a great post-plant.
Yeah, and you look at that post-plant situation, and although Powerhouse was able to get that plant down, they really didn't have those crossfires established. You really need to make sure all of your players were in position to try and really cut down the defenders who are going to be trying to retake site. That wasn't in place. It was really unorganized and disorganized and unorganized. But unorganized, I'm fumbling words, but you know what I mean. Going into the next round, you are going to see Powerhouse on the defense, and they are going to opt for Church and Arsenal. They are down 4 rounds, so they really need to make a showing here on defense if they really want to stay in this. And I apologize for you making the long run earlier. I didn't realize it was muted.
So before I go ahead and give my thoughts, I want to hear from you. What do you think the likelihood is that we'll see Troll Team just take the next 2 rounds and end it 7-1?
It's really anybody's game. Again, this is Clubhouse, and it really just comes down to how well your team works together. And right now, we are seeing Troll Team work as a team more so than Powerhouse, in the sense that they are capitalizing on the opportunities that Powerhouse is failing to kind of recognize. So if you're Troll Team, you're feeling really confident going into this attacking round, knowing that their basement site, you do have the Hard Breach, the Habana, the Thermite, and a Cali as well to boot. It just looks like Troll Team is in control of this one. However, that being said, Powerhouse does have every ability and resource to try and take this back. They win a couple of rounds here, and all of a sudden, we got a game again.
Before we go into my postulations on what might we see in the second half, I'd like to talk about one small factor we might have overlooked in how and why Powerhouse was able to only claim a single round, and I think that might just maybe have something to do with the fact we saw Maverick and Thatcher both be banned. A lot of teams that are frankly new to working with each other have a few issues when they aren't trained and really prepared to work without those main operators that are involved with the hard breaching process. And though I imagine both of the cores, really the factions we're seeing inside the Powerhouse's 2 members, Crank and Phyllis, as well as the old depth roster big guys, Lift and Habini, they definitely have a lot of experience working without Thatcher or Maverick. Now that they're working together in this new lineup, I think that might be an old issue beginning to crop up again. But now the focus shifts over to the second half. It will be Powerhouse on the defense, heading for an Arsenal set up here, and it looks like the attackers have made a little bit of an advancement, though Habini will begin to push back. He cuts down Niccolo. It'll be your Habana taken down, and pushing forward, we might see Powerhaus claim another round.
Reloading.
Yeah, and it really is early to tell, but getting one of the Harbreachers off the board is really crucial. One factor I want to note, though, is Powerhaus has opted to take a Maestro. Maestro, one of those key operators that can really change the pace of the game. 81 bullets, it can really be easy to cut down the angles as Powerhaus makes all of the attackers of Troll Team fall. It's all up to Taylor as the Cali inside of dirt. We are going to see Crank try and contest it, though, and with a 5v1 advantage, trying to challenge a Cali here is not probably the smartest idea. She's going to be holding a Pixel, and should Crank get a little bit too close to her, it can prove to be a little bit detrimental. Right now, if you are Troll Team, you have to decide if you want to push through dirt here and risk your attacker dying, or maybe you just take a tactical timeout. There are only 30 seconds on the board. This round is really out of reach for anybody on Troll Team, and Powerhaus showing that they are not out of this yet. They are going to take yet another round here.
Yeah, Taylor probably just gonna play for
15
frag, so
seconds
maybe he
to
gets
go.
a couple to pad his stats creeping through the dirt tunnel. Looks like Crank is aware of this. He swings, free fire,
Whoa!
gets shut down. That was a
Dang!
nasty flick there. The headshot from Taylor. Phyllis with one as well, but ultimately the trade will come out.
Can we get an instant replay on that? I think Vigil just got put 6 feet into the ground there, and I kind of feel bad for him, but at the same time, he got greedy, swung dirt, and that's a Cali. She's gonna take one shot to the chest, and that will net her a kill. So, maybe a pity kill there, but yikes, that looked like it hurt. Good night.
So, a little bit of added momentum in that round win, and with the side switch, maybe Powerhaus, they've got something left to show us. Their first round will be a success, heading down to the basement, and now they go to the other primary site for Clubhouse. That'll be CCTV and Cash, and the lineup and the strategy overall that they had, I think, definitely
need to locate
is
and defuse as
strong,
many bombs as they
and if
can.
they're able to replicate that success in their setup, we might see them begin to go off, and possibly even head toward what could well be a victory. Troll Team have not yet achieved match point, and with that, the possibility of only a tie for Powerhaus. So, if you're Powerhaus, you really are going to be biting down tooth and nail to try and get this win and not let any mistakes slip through or allow really Troll Team any possibility to chick their way into the armor and ultimately take a win.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at already getting one round under your belt, after the first one, yeah, but getting your first defensive round, that really says something in the statement to the attack of Troll Team. They said, we're ready to play. We saw what you did on defense. Guess what? We can do it better. And I expect to see some of the most probably important gameplay of the game coming up here, and probably some of the more highlight reel kills and plays, shall I say. Powerhaus really could be on a winning streak soon. They could easily win 4 consecutive rounds to take the lead over Troll Team. But you mentioned that Troll Team is not at match point yet, so even if they get one round and we go to a 6-6 tie, it'd be another tie for Troll Team, and I have a feeling they're doing everything in their power to try and stop another tie. They need to get a win here.
You mentioned how there's probably going to be an increase of kind of frantic sort of kill reel style plays. I could definitely see that with Powerhaus. You know, as they take more and more rounds, what that's going to do is kind of up the amount of desperation on both sides. Troll Team, they're going to want to close it out, get to the match point, and at least guarantee the tie, whereas Powerhaus, they're going to, like I mentioned earlier, want to not give up anything.
Attackers have located
Frank
bombs.
could be looking to go for a deep roam here. He's down on the first floor, possibly coming up through the main staircase and taking down the player inside of logistics. With 1 minute and 30 seconds, I think this is the optimal time to get that point done, and I don't know if we have any drones covering that. Though there is somebody opening the windows inside the master bedroom. They might be keyed into this. Hard to say just yet.
Yeah, it
Attackers
is
have dropped
really
the bomb
kind of
diffuser.
early in this round to try and make something happen, but Niccolo is going to fall to the TCSG of Big Guy. Getting a little bit too aggro with that Hibana, almost hitting the minute mark here. We have Crank on the flank. It's a rhyme. Through logistics office, as he's going to see the head of Slasher take out one. He has the diffuser in his possession. He's going to get known from his positioning, though. Rhyme going to get an easy pre-fire kill onto him, now making it a 3v4 for the attackers here. Advantage still in favor of Powerhaus. We do have a Beanie playing with the shotgun close inside of server room, and Maestro holding the pixel angle through the deployable shield. And Rhymy knows that there is somebody behind that shield, and there are holes and punch holes everywhere, so it's going to be a little bit difficult for them to attack. Callie going to be pushing up, almost lands the shots onto Glyph. Glyph does end up being eliminated by Taylor via the Callie's SMG, and now there's 10 seconds left. A 3v3. Maestro going to get the shot off onto Zofia. A nice headshot here, pre-firing towards the breach. Will find Taylor, second of the round, and Hibini finishes it off on Derek. Round goes to Powerhaus, and they are in really good momentum here as we go into round number 9.
Ending the half, it's almost like something in Powerhaus kind of clicked. They realize now that they've got the defense the opportunity to show Troll Team 6 what strategies that they have prepared, and so far, those have looked very successful. There was a little bit of a scary moment there in that last round, I think, after Glyph went down, and we saw the Sophia line up with the headshot through the Maverick hole. Ultimately, though, thankfully for Powerhaus's chances, she was not successful, and the Maestro came out on top in that gunfight, ultimately securing the round and forcing the attackers to a single-dimensional push coming in through Garage. The next round, however, looks to be a little bit
Attackers
different.
need to
I
locate
think we
and
saw
defuse as many
the
bombs as
Ying
they
come
can.
out from the side of Troll Team, and that's definitely a little bit of a shakeup. I'm kind of disappointed. I haven't seen too much Ying play inside of Siege Cardinal Link, whether in Season 4 currently or in the Season 3 prior. Ying was in the meta for a long time in Year 3, Year 4 kind of the era, right there before everything started to be switched up throughout all of the T1 leagues. But maybe she's going to make a little bit of a comeback in the latter half of this map. As we close out the prep phase, what do you
10
think
seconds
of the
remaining.
pick?
Ying is honestly one of the more underrated
5 seconds
operators
left
because she
before
has
insertion.
so many opportunities to disrupt the utility on the defense.
Attackers must locate
And
and
if you're
defuse the bomb.
Powerhaus, they are bringing quite a lot of utility with that Wamai and Jaeger combo. So the ability to use her Candelas to burn out the ADSs and then use the smoke grenades to burn out the Wamais, that will make it a world of a lot easier to try and push into sight. And that's exactly what they're going to try and do, because right now they've stalled on attack, and it's exactly what we saw Powerhaus do on attack. So if you are Troll Team, you want to try and disrupt that lull that they are in.
Slasher, maybe get a little bit of repel action up, get in position on the roof. You could even open up the hatch logistics, maybe go for a push through there. As we see the Callie and the Thermite working together, they will be successful in getting the Jacuzzi wall open. 2 minutes 10. That's some great timing to get that open. We didn't see anything close to that when Powerhaus were on the execution. This could give Troll Team really the edge they need to close out the round, but every second they continue to stall out is a little bit more of an advantage over towards Powerhaus. We'll see them try and sustain the pace, though ultimately a smoke canister will work against that, choking the life out of Derek the Dead, who sits just below 100 health. He didn't take too much, but it's definitely still a consideration. You don't want to be hanging around in that for too long. The Callie, shooting her explosive lance as Big Guy, might look to contest from the main staircase.
Yeah, and also bringing a Callie, they're really trying to get rid of all that utility. Thermite taking quite a lot of damage here via the Toxic Babies, just going to be under now half HP after just being under 100. We are going to see Big Guy get down, though, and now we're going to see Ying push up through bathroom using her Candelas to her advantage, but Glyph is going to find a kill onto Ryby. And we are going to see Niccolo find a kill onto the gate on main stairs, but Taylor's going to fall. A flurry of kills come out, and left standing is going to be Derek as he's planting the diffuser, and Glyph and Habini kind of stuck in place, now moving to retake site. Habini's going to get pre-fired on the main stairs via Slasher, now making it a 1v3 as Glyph looks to retake site. He's got to deal with Callie, Slasher, and Derek, but they are all under 25 HP and 50 HP. He's gonna spot a little bit of Slasher, and there's that health advantage not working out in their favor. Niccolo now taking even more damage. Glyph under 75 with 20 seconds. He's got to find a way to try and get this round win. He's gonna push up, find the kill onto Derek, his third of the round. Can he make it a 4K? He's gonna try and make the defuse, but there's gonna be Callie having to reload, looking through the hatch. 6 seconds left. He's gonna jump out. There's no time on the clock. Can't get the kill. Niccolo, and it's going to be Troll Team winning the round. Niccolo is going to get felled in the last few seconds by Glyph, but getting that diffuser down will be Powerhaus. Not winning the round, but Troll Team.
You know, honestly, I was a little eager to say that the Ying rush kind of failed there, but ultimately it did what it needed to. Even if the Ying was taken out without any opportunities to get kills, it set up the side of TT6 in a position where the site hold went from incredibly strong, stalling them out, to just super weak. There was no real stopping them from getting that plant down, and we ultimately did see it be successful. And after that, it was kind of just Troll Team and their opportunity to cut down anybody that tried to flank and cut back through the objective and attempt to defuse. Ultimately, it came down, to the final wire there. We saw the Wamai, even in the last few seconds, he was able to get his kill, though the time that they had spent wasting on that diffuser paid off well for them, and he was unsuccessful. Countered it.
Yeah, even though he wasn't able to get the counter defuse, he did find the kill, so that technically is a 4K for him on the round. So we do know that Glyph has the power to get those frags, but he's got to be a little bit more, what's the word, diligent about how he wants to position himself in the map, especially considering that they were not able to retake site effectively. They gave too much time to the attackers to try and establish those crossfires. They needed to be way more aggressive and more determined to try and disrupt that plan. They weren't, and the Ying was partially to blame for that, but Troll Team, interestingly enough, not opting to bring the Ying this time, as I feel like Powerhaus would be expecting the Ying, so maybe throwing a curveball at them. And this is what we didn't see Powerhaus do, which was adapt. Powerhaus did not adapt on attack, and you saw them lose 5 consecutive rounds because they were not able to do so. Now, on the other side, we saw them win 2 rounds on defense as they were able to adapt that strategy, but Troll Team was able to change their strategy to match their strategy. So it really is a mind game at the end of the day, and you gotta know your strats by heart in order to execute them.
I kind of overlooked with that last round. We are headed 3-6, so Troll Team will achieve the match point and thus guarantee themselves at least 1 point in this one so far. We don't have overtime. For those of you who are well thought through with the rules, Slasher position at the top of the CCTV stairs, maybe trying to wait and cut down anyone trying to find their way into Swamp, though ultimately will be a solid 5-man stack on the side itself. Rodney gonna be heading things off, opening the barricade at the bottom of the main staircase. Actually, he's just gonna go off of it. A couple of pot shots there, but overall not committed to it.
Yeah, and I do find it odd that Troll Team is really taking their time with this push. They really know that they gotta get these hatches open and trying to establish anything. K charges being a little bit too much for them to handle. Slash is gonna be slicing open the kitchen floor, trying to establish those vertical angles, which we saw Powerhaus do the first time, and it did prove to be effective. So they know that that strategy can work, but they have to deal with all of the anchors on site of Powerhaus. And there are no roamers present, but the drop into Moto via Derek, he's wasting no time and hesitating at no second to try and push this church wall. But Phil is going to be holding that long angle towards main stairs. It's going to be church wall opened up, 40 seconds left on the clock. Sparks will fly soon, as it will be Hibini falling to Niccolo. Glyph getting the refrag onto Niccolo, though, as he now has under 10 HP. 25 seconds left in this one. Stick, take it away.
So, we'll see a flurry of kills come out. The Thermite unsuccessful in taking anybody's life away, but he might even be successful in getting the plant
They're
down.
activating the
The
diffuser.
timer finally clicks all the way down, and the big yellow timer up at the top will begin. 38 seconds, and the opportunity to claim a tie here for Powerhaus starts to drift farther and farther away. Big guy with one. Big guy not able to find the second. It will be left up to the Maestro. He's creeping his way through side, though. The defense, unfortunately, is met by an aggressive play from the rest of the offense, and everything goes wrong. Pro Team 6 take 7-3.
You really got to commend Troll Team here for what they were able to do. They really disrupted exactly what Powerhouse's game plan was going into this. It could have been the Maverick and the Thatcher bands that really screwed up the attacking round for them, but it will now be a win for Troll Team. So we are going to have an interview with one of them, and we'll see what they were able to do differently here. Hopefully we will be able to get somebody in here, and yeah. But Stick, what do you think of that game overall?
I think it was definitely had a little bit more room for Powerhaus to show up, though. Troll Team in the round, we saw number 8 on Jim, as well as number 10 just then on the, looks like it was on the basement, according to my notes. They kind of just took their opportunity to win and closed it out, which is the smart play to do. I think ultimately, though, it was just an attempt by Troll Team, caught out early. We should be going to an advertisement just shortly, so stick with us. And next after that, we will be coming back with an interview from the victors.
Are we muted? Tell him to run the ad.
I did. Well, there will be Derek in the interview booth now. Sorry about that. We had a little bit of an issue, but congratulations on your victory. 7-3. Wow.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Definitely. My first question was in round number 9, or rather on number 8, we saw the gym pick came out and the Ying. I wanted to ask you what the idea behind that was and whether or not that was kind of a manifestation of you guys just wanting to do something kind of risky to try and close it out.
I mean, they are like those are all good players. I've played against 3 of them on an old team, so I know that they can gun. I know like they play a specific way. I feel like that it's kind of a spread type of defense. So for us, I was like, we are having trouble. Honestly, we were having trouble on our attacks trying to get into sight because they were pretty spread apart and we weren't able to like pick them off. So with the Ying pick, it was more of a use the Ying to push them away from where I'm trying to go, like with the bomb plant. So we kind of just had the Ying go into a certain area and almost put like a little bubble around where I was. So it made it so they couldn't shoot me or take me down when I was trying to go for a plant, when it worked, I guess. So I'd say it was pretty successful.
So you guys ended the half 5-1. What factor do you think really contributed the most to your defensive success?
That's a good question. I think that people were just winning gunfights. I don't think we were doing anything special. I think our fraggers were just kind of getting their opening picks, and we were winning that first opening pick pretty much every round, and it just helped us kind of snowball our way through the rest of the round.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like that there was a little bit of a kind of disparagement in the terms of the opening kills between you, obviously, and the side of Powerhouse. That's as far as my questions. All I've got, unless Matt has anything else he'd like to ask you. Ultimately, you guys had an incredibly strong performance today. You got anything to say, Matt?
Absolutely, I do. What do you guys think you did differently compared to last week? Coming off of a tie can be sometimes demoralizing, but this week really not a huge factor. What was the mentality really going into this one?
I mean, we kind of had some roster moves, so that obviously changes things a little bit. But I don't even remember what map we played on last week, to be honest. But I mean, comfortability on maps obviously is a huge factor going into it. I mean, I think everyone's comfortable on Clubhouse. It's just some people are just a little bit better than others. It's just such a like played map, and you can pretty much only play it a couple ways. So, being us, I mean, we played Clubhouse a lot in the past, so it's just a map that we're pretty comfortable on, to say the least. And I think that was just a pretty big factor in playing that map compared to whatever we played last week, which I don't remember.
All right, well, congratulations on your win. One other question I have was, did the operators that were banned impact your gameplay to a certain extent enough where you had to completely change everything, or were you kind of prepared for the Maverick, the Thatcher, the Valkyrie ban going into this one?
Well, as you saw, like we were supposed to be on defense, like the bans were kind of weird for us. So, I would say that we weren't expecting those exact bans from what my knowledge of Powerhouse and their team. But obviously, like I said, we played this map a lot in the past, so we're relatively comfortable on it. So the strats didn't change a lot, but we were able to make like small adjustments on those bans, particularly to help us out and kind of give us still keep us an advantage going into defensive rounds.
All right, well, again, congratulations, and hope to see you back in this interview booth at some point down the road.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I mean, yeah. Okay, well, take it easy, man. Great games today. Glad you showed up.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a good night.
That'll about wrap things up on our end. A short night today. We only had that single match, and it went by pretty quickly. Powerhouse looked like they might have made an attempt, so close to getting the comeback, though ultimately, Troll Team, they just decided to close things out and take their win. That'll give them a nice few points. They might be in the lead, but we'll have to wait for the rest of Playday number 2's games to finish up to see the full reflection for the overall standings. That's all from me. Matt, you got anything to say before we go ahead and send it off?
Yeah, always a pleasure casting with you, Stick, and hope you have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.